In this video, we are going to study about recursive function. Recursive function means function calling itself. This is a very important topic and this is usually asked for exams. So before going to the implementation part, let me tell you how or what is a recursive function. So by definition, it is function calling itself. So what you see here is the basic syntax of a C++ program, right? So you're having a main function. Suppose if you are using functions, then in addition to main function, you will be having a function, right? So let the function is to add. It's an add function. Okay, I'm naming the function as add. So this is a function. Okay. So when and you always know that the function is called within the main function. Wait. So what usually happens is um, initially the compiler read this line and this line, and when it reaches here, there is a function call, right? So it gives the control to the function definition. It starts executing the statements within the function definition, right? And after executing all the lines inside the function definition, the control is sent back to where the function is called. And it reads the remaining part of the main function. That is how usually a normal function works, right? But in this case, when you call a function, it will come to the function called add, right? It come to the function definition. And inside the function definition is calling the same function again. Did you say this? So you're calling the function inside the main function. So the control normally comes to the add function which you have called. And inside the called function, that is add, you're calling the same function again. Did you see this? So inside this, it is calling this again. And this happens until some conditions goes wrong. So this is what a function or a recursive function is. A function, it calls itself, is called as a recursive function. So this is the basic working of what a recursive function is. I could explain this with a example, and this example is to find the factorial of a number. Okay, so for I hope everyone knows about the or knows what a factorial is. That is, if say for example, if you want to find the factorial of 5, then it is equal to what? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Oh god, wait, 1 into 1 into 2. Okay, okay, this is the factorial of 5, right? This is equal to 120, right? So this is how you need to find a factorial of a number. If you want to find a factorial of the number 5, then it is nothing but 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Okay, so we are going to find this. If you are giving a number, the program will automatically find the factorial of that number. Actually, we have discussed how to solve this type of program or this type of a problem using a for loop. We have discussed in the class. But now in this session, we are going to write a program using recursive function to find the factorial. Okay. So you're using another technique to find the factorial, and that is nothing but recursive function. Okay. So before going to the implementation part, we have to understand one more thing. That is, we cannot find a factorial for a negative number. There is no factorial for negative number. And another point is, if the number is 0 or 1, the factorial will be 0. Sorry, 1. Okay. So the thing you have to understand is, you cannot find a factorial for a negative number, and the factorial for 0 or 1 is 1. So that is what you have to keep in mind. So now I'm going to the implementation part. Okay, so this is the implementation part. As you can see, this is the, okay, let's start. Okay, as we all know that always a program starts from the main function. So this is the first line executing. Okay, it is giving a message to the user to input a number to which you want to find the factorial for. So here the user is inputting the number 3 and it is entered to, or it is stored on memory location A. I am using 3 because a smaller number is easy to explain, that is why. So I'm asking the user to give a number to find its factorial, and the user is giving the number 3 and it is stored on the memory location A. Now we need to check the conditions that we have discussed before. That is, if the number is a negative number, then there's no point going and finding the factorial, right? There is no factorial for a negative number. So first of all, you need to check whether a is less than 0. Less than 0 means it's a negative number, right? If a is less than 0, give a command to the user that the factorial of a negative number cannot be found, and you will come out of the program. There is no need to go and find it, right? There's no point going. If not, if this condition is false, then obviously we go to the else part. And on the else part, we are calling the function called fact. We are calling the function called fact because it is there. It is on the fact function. We have written the code for finding the factorial, right? And you are passing a with it. Why you are passing a with it? Because you want to find the factorial of the number that is stored within a. And what is it? It is nothing but 3. So now what happens? The control comes to the function definition, that is the factorial part. Okay, now look here. This is basically this is the code for finding the factorial, and this is our function definition, right? This is our function definition. Okay, this is our function definition where it tells how to find the factorial of a number. Okay, so when a is passed here, it is stored onto the variable n, right? So what is the value of n now? It is now 3. A is passed to the function definition, and for using the value inside the a, it has to be stored in a variable in the function definition, and I'm using n, and since it's an integer number, I'm giving it as int. Now I'm storing the value of a inside n, and now n becomes 3, right? Okay, now you're going inside the function, right? And you're checking another condition, that is, if the value of n is 0 or 1, then obviously the factorial is 1, right? So it checks whether n is equal to 0 or 1. It is not 0 or 1, so what happens? This condition is false, so you will go to the else part, right? So what is done here? It is said that 3 into fact of n minus 1. What is n minus 1? N minus 1 is 3 minus 1. That is 2, right? So what it is doing here? It is multiplying 3 into the function with 2, right? You're calling the function again with the value 2, right? So inside this, you're calling the function fact again with the value 2. Now what happens? The control comes here, but the new value of n is now replaced by 2, right? So it is again going inside the function and checking the condition. If any of this condition is true, the value is 1, right? The condition is not true. That is, n is not 0 or 1. Instead, it is 2. So what happens? You go to the else part. And in the else part, what you have to do is replace the fact of 2 with what? N. What is the value of n? It is 2. 2 into what? 2 into fact of n minus 1. N minus 1 is 2 minus 1. That is 1. That is, you are again calling the function fact with the value 1. Now you comes here, and now the value of n is 1, right? So you check the condition here. What happens is return 1. That is, the fact of 1 should be replaced by what? 1. So what is returned? 3 into 2 into 1 is returned back to where? It is returned back to where it is called. What is the value that is returned? 3 into 2 into 1 is 6. Now it is stored on F, and if you want to say it, you have to display it, right? So this is, and before executing it, let's check. This is the function call, and here the function declaration is also given as well, right? So this is it. So our program is done. Let's learn and see whether the program executes properly. Yeah, it is asking for a number. I'm giving the number 3, and it is giving the answer as 6, right? So this is how you have to find the factorial of a number with a recursive function. So let me tell you, first of all, basically in you have to have the logic that you cannot find a factorial for a negative number. So first of all, check that whether number is negative. If not, go to the else part and find the factorial, and the factorial is find the code for finding the factorial is within the fact function. So you have to call the factorial with the value of that is stored in a, because you need to find the factorial of the value stored in a, right? So you need to pass it, and that is temporarily stored on the variable n, right? Initially the value was 3. Now you need to check the condition. If it is 0 or when 1, then obviously the factorial is 1, else not. If not, then do the statement, that is, first of all, it is 3 into fact of 3 minus 1 is 2, again calling the fact function with 2 value and checking the condition. If not, 2 is replaced, fact of 2 is replaced by 2 into fact of 1, right? Again it is checking, so it is like this, 3 into fact of 2 3 into 2 into fact of 1. Once this is done, 3 into 2 into fact of 1. Fact of 1 is what? 1, right? So this value is returned back to the function call. So this is what is basically happening here. On each step, the value of n is replaced by or reduced by 1, and the function is called again. So this is the basic functioning of a recursive function. Hope you understand it. This is a very important topic, and if you have any doubts, please ping me. Thank you.